Why did South Africa's attempts to extradite the Gupta brothers, Rajesh and Atul, from the United Arab Emirates fail? Their extradition hearing took place in Dubai in February, but the authorities in South Africa only heard after the fact that it had failed. So this is the burning issue that was debated this afternoon in Parliament. The topic was put forward by Brett Herron of the Good Party, and he joins us now. Thank you so much for your time. There's been a lot happening today in Parliament, so we haven't actually focused on the details of what came out of this debate. Did you get the answers you were looking for?
Hi, Sally. I don't think South Africa got the answers that we were looking for. Certainly. The debate gave the Minister of Justice the opportunity to explain the contradictions between what the United Arab Emirates was claiming as the reasons for the failure of the extradition application and South Africa's version. And so I think we were left with the same questions that we went into the debate with as to why that extradition failed, and really no answers on how the new task team that has been established between the UAE and South Africa can ensure that the Guptas will be returned to South Africa or extradited to South Africa to face trial. So
at the time when we heard that South Africa was going to try and extradite the Gupta brothers, we were told that there was a crack team of lawyers, from the private sector as well as state lawyers who were absolutely on this, who were specialists in extradition. What is your understanding of what they actually did wrong?
Well, I mean, the minister didn't dispute the UAE's press statement, which basically said that South Africa didn't meet the requirements, the rigid requirements it contained in the extradition agreement between the two countries. In that we didn't provide a live warrant of arrest. We provided a cancelled warrant of arrest. So, I mean, what that demonstrates is a lack of urgency, a lack of meticulousness, a lack of commitment, I think, to ensuring that all the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted to make sure that there was no loophole for the Guptas to escape this extradition. That's hugely disappointing that this high-stakes case was handled, I think, rather carelessly, certainly from my understanding. And the minister didn't do anything today to allay those concerns that there was this lack of care.
Did the issue come up why South African lawyers were not present during the actual hearing and were only informed after the fact?
The minister said in his response that the UAE prosecution system or service played the role of prosecuting this extradition on South Africa's behalf, and he said that in reciprocation we would do the same for them if there was a case for extradition in South Africa. So it's not clear why the UAE prosecutors, acting on South Africa's instructions, were unable to comply with the requirements of the UAE law, given that they are the experts in UAE law.
You mentioned the possibility of our Justice Department trying again to extradite the Guptas, but my understanding is they're no longer in the UAE. Was that clarified today at all?
No, I think that was another failed opportunity. The minister didn't clarify how he expects this new task team, as I said, to extradite the Gupta brothers, given that they appear to have taken up citizenship in Vanuatu and are traveling around the world as tourists. So if there is a task team, and the task team is now starting a fresh extradition application, I think we can be quite confident that the Gupta brothers have already taken legal advice, and they will be reducing or mitigating their exposure to the risk of extradition in the UAE, because they will have access to the best legal advice. And I think we've lost that opportunity now. There's no way that the Gupta brothers are going to be sitting in the UAE waiting to be arrested again and waiting to be extradited. And so that raises the question as to whether we will ever see them in South Africa facing prosecution for their role in state capture and for pocketing over 15 billion rand.
Yeah, it is certainly very disheartening, and it seems that having got away once, they are now at least 1 or 2 steps ahead of our authorities. Today also I saw you in Parliament commenting on the National Health Insurance Bill, which was ultimately voted in. Did the Good Party support it? What are your concerns?
We did support it because we believe in universal health care and we believe in the Section 27 rights that are contained in the Constitution, which guarantee access to medical services when even if you have no ability to pay for them. And by the way, Section 27 of the Constitution also guarantees the right to social security, which is another issue that we continue to drive in Parliament. So we did support it. There are concerns, and they're legitimate concerns, around corruption, around the quality of public health facilities, and around whether we have the human resources in order to meet the demand. But those concerns should not be barriers to universal health care and to access to improved quality healthcare services for all South Africans. So we were in support of the bill because the bill, it provides the framework on which our government can build a comprehensive national health insurance system.
All right. Well, thank you so much for chatting to us this evening. Much appreciated. Brett Herron of the Good Party, his party's stance on the NHI bill that was passed today. And of course, we're going to be speaking to the Department of Health after 7 o'clock this evening on that, but also speaking about the debate that he, in fact, called for around the failed extradition of the Gupta brothers earlier this year. Now, still to come.